Good.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Joey's. I see the live now. It's moving on Facebook. Oh, look at that. Oh, I gotta turn it down. All right, hi everybody. Welcome to Trending Thursday. Oh man, I'm a tired individual. I've had a long night, and I'm hoping that I'm gonna bring some energy and some positivity and some good vibes to the room. If you can hear me, by all means, please respond in the affirmative, preferably with VV Nation. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And we are simulcasting. That's the word of the day. We are simulcasting on Facebook today. So I'll be able to look at the chat on Facebook as well as on YouTube. So glad to see that you guys are here. Don't forget to say hi to Joey. Everybody say hi to Joey. Each and every person. I want Joey to see the love that people have for him in VV Nation. And on YouTube, and on Facebook, don't forget to chime in as well. There you go. Go Shay. Kenneth is in. Go Shay. That's right. I got it now. James is in Boston. Miss McClintock is saying hi to Joey. Where's the mouse? Saying hi to Joey. Everybody's saying hi to Joey. Look at that, Joey. People love you on the channel, Joey. They love you. Look at that. Look at that love, Joey. Are you here?
Yeah.
Are you looking? Look at that. Hi, Joey. Thanks for the great job you do. That's a little bit more than you need to tell Joey because he just does okay. All right. Manu is here. Somebody just called you Joseph. Ooh, that's kind of formal. Joseph. That's your government name. Mandeville, Louisiana. Greetings, Joey. Go Shay. That's right. I'm never going to forget that. Go Shay. Captain James T. Kirk saying hello to Glenn and Joey. Gotta love that. Love that name. I'm a Star Trek fan. Hi from Winnipeg, Canada. Yes, I just called it Canada. Lee is in Canada. How come it's not popping up? Oh, I got to be in the software or something? They're not popping up. It doesn't matter. Kobe is here from Israel. Eton, are you here from Israel as well? I've got two people that normally chime in from Israel, so I'm glad to have you here. Devendra is in Tampa. That's where my kids live. Les is saying hi to Joey. Greg, greetings from Denmark. I love the global reach that we have here on Trending Thursday, folks. So glad that you're here. Arturo is looking with us on our Facebook channel. All right, so I can see the chat both on Facebook and on... Huh?
Is it working now?
Let's go see. Hi, Joey. We love you from Israel. Look at that. You're loved from Israel, Joey. I just realized what you meant by Go Shay. That's what I said. Go Shay. Ken made sure that I got it now. It's Go Shay. How you doing? I love me some Go Shay now. All right, so with that, welcome to Trending Thursday. This is where we talk about what's going on in the market, especially what's going on from the economic view of the market. We've got stories to talk about trending sectors and what stocks to look at in those sectors. And we analyze all of these stocks by way of the VectorVest system so that you can make a better decision in the stocks that you want to buy and sell. Today, Joey just put up all of the things that we're going to talk about. Of course, the market overview. Today, we're going to talk about cannabis stocks. How many of you have heard that Congress is getting ready to put a bill on the floor to decriminalize cannabis? Type of 1 in the room if you've heard it. Type of 2 if you don't know. Type of 1 in the room if you heard it. And that goes for both my Facebook crowd and my YouTube crowd. Let me know. Type of 1 if you've heard about it. Type of 2 if you haven't. So I think that that's a hot enough topic that we got to look at some cannabis stocks today. No matter how you feel, some of you from a standpoint of ethics may say this is just a bad deal. And some of you are just like looking at it like me as just a money-making opportunity. That's the way I'm really looking at it. Healthcare stocks are on the rise. Transportation still moving. How many of you still trading Zim? Tilray is one of the stocks that I'm going to be looking at, B. Smith, as well as Miss McClintock. I will be looking at Tilray. Tilray and Sundial are two stocks that many of you really like a lot, but I'm going to be looking at some other stocks as well. And what else? I've also got electric vehicles. You know, I'm still big on electric vehicles. I've got a lot of videos. I just put out another video this week. Here's another question. How many of you have watched the maintenance video between combustible, not combustion, somebody corrected me on that on YouTube, on combustion vehicles versus electric vehicles? How many of you saw that video on our YouTube channel? Type a 1 in the room. If you have not, type a 2. I think that was a video that you guys were looking to see. And interestingly enough, I found out long-term electric vehicles seem to be less maintenance, whereas up front, though, the cost of buying an electric vehicle is still high. Wow, a lot of 2s. Man, you guys need to check out all the other videos that we have on our YouTube channel. All right, before we get there, you go. Joey put the link in there. You guys need to click on that link. Not right now, because it'll pull you away from here. But there's the link. If you want to copy that link and watch it later, please do. Please do. Copy that link, watch it later. Hello, Rich. Rich is tuning in on our Facebook channel. Howdy. Please check that out. So, a couple of other things. One, if you're brand new to the channel, I got somebody who just subscribed already. I can't see that. Oh, there it is. Somebody just subscribed. Lou, this is the first time you subscribed to the channel?
Was he a subscriber this whole time?
I didn't know he wasn't a subscriber this whole time. I thought he was a subscriber. I thought so. He's here all the time. Wow. Well, thank you.
One saying he couldn't find it, right?
Well, yeah. Now you know why you couldn't find it, because you weren't a subscriber. So I'm glad that you've come over to the light side and now you are a subscriber. And I invite everybody out there who are not subscribers to our channel, and if you're passing by or you still haven't supported our channel by subscribing, please do. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. And now, Lou, you'll get an alert when new videos like this, when new live streams or new videos come out. If you like the content, folks, please hit the like button. I put a lot of work into the Trending Thursdays and the midday markets to bring good content to you. That's my job, because you're taking time out of your day to spend with us, and I want to make it well worth your time by trying to put together the best possible content that I can. So if you like what you see, folks, don't forget to hit the like button. All right, with that, so that's what we're going to cover today. Joey, put me in the other one. All right, so let's go look at what's going on in the market. Let's go look at what's going on in the market. And Joey set up, I love how Joey is messing around with the scenes and things to make your experience a good deal. Sadamir says, hi, I'm waiting to hit the like, but we need to get to the point. Wow. I'm going to do that. Wow. All right. I got a lot of time here, and I got a lot of stuff to cover. I got you. All right. So let's start off with what's going on in the market. As you can see here, all of the major indices, let me back up. All of the major indices are down today. All right. Our color guard, or our traffic light into the market, is a lot of yellow. We did pick up a red today. We'll talk a little bit about that. And then always to try to see where the money is going. It looks like the top sector moving today is energy. Energy and utility are the both two that are moving right now today, but it is what it is. And that's going to be some places to find some stocks to take a look at. And Ms. McClintock is talking about a stock, and that's fine. You go ahead and do so. Jonas says, just got into trading options, and I'm about to execute my first trade. Do you guys talk about options? We do have options talks when I bring on Ron Wheeler, but we haven't in a while. It's probably something that I need to think about doing relatively soon. All right, so this is what the market looks like today. The color guard is one tick into the red. That's because our buy to sell ratio is below the value of 1 and lower on a week over week and day over day basis. That's a snapshot of today. Let's go out to our news articles and let's go see what's going on with behind the scenes from the economic standpoint. So U.S. inflation rates rise to 40-year peak in February by Fed's preferred measure. That's not a good thing. All right, so we all know that inflation is an issue. We all know that the Fed is going after inflation by trying to raise interest rates. Glenn has been saying for a long time, your Uncle Glenn has been saying that inflation was not transitory, the word that they were using all of this time, and now it's become a problem, and I think that they might have come late to the party to try to go after inflation. Now, with that, they are starting to raise interest rates, but they're not taking the debt off the books yet. They're still buying our debt. Now, that's going to be an oxymoron of trying to raise interest rates and still buying the debt. The debt's not coming off the books. If they're going to help to bring inflation down, they got to stop doing the quantitative easing by buying our debt. They got to get those bonds off their books. All right, so that's another whole thing going on in and of itself. Inflation weighed on consumer spending growth in February. Consumer spending, annual inflation rose to 6.4 using the Federal Reserve's preferred gauge, so that's going back to the same story. I think it's still higher than that. I still think it is higher than 6.4%. I'm thinking that at one point in time, as they're raising interest rates, there's going to be, and you're hearing it just from me, this is my opinion, I still think that there's going to be a 100 basis point raise in one of these raises. And then everybody will say, well, then the market's going to go into a recession. I don't know if the Fed's got the wherewithal right now to keep the market from going into recession, to aggressively go after inflation. Because if you just raise 25 basis points or 50 basis points, it's going to take us forever to get inflation down. So I think at some point in time before the ending of the year, that we are, and again, this is just my opinion, that we are going to raise interest rates by 100 basis points. But once that happens, I don't think he has any more idea of trying to get a Goldilocks or soft landing in the market. He's just going to have to suck it up. That's just going to happen. All right. Jobless claims. Weekly jobless claims. When did this come out? This came out today. U.S. jobless claims edge higher amid tight labor market. Hiring seen becoming easier as more workers return to the labor force. And why are more people going back to the labor force or going back to work? Inflation is a problem. Inflation is a problem. In order to pay the bills, you got to be working. You got to be working. And, you know, the unemployment also a few months ago, took away the added benefits of unemployment. Now people are going to have to go back to work, and I'm thinking that that's what's going on from a jobs perspective. And look at this. Job openings ease slightly from record highs. Slight uptick in workers quitting shows continued confidence in finding new jobs and higher wages. And I think that employers have to come to the realization that in order to get quality people that will work and will stay, then you're going to have to give them higher wages in order to keep up with inflation. All right. That's another big thing. People are looking for jobs, but if the jobs are paying the money that was pre this inflation rise, they're not keeping up with inflation, and people are not going to take those jobs. All right. So I think slowly but surely employers are coming on board with saying, all right, we're going to have to raise what we pay. Now, guess what? Once you do that, a couple of things that'll happen from a business perspective. You're going to kick out more money to hire people, but interest rates are going to rise. So you're kicking out more money to hire people. That's affecting your bottom line. Interest rates are going up. That's going to affect your bottom line because it's going to make it harder for you to borrow money. And when you do, you're going to have to pay it back at a higher interest rates. Those are two things that will affect the company's bottom line. And you're still going to probably see in the next quarter a lot more buybacks to keep the bottom line looking good. And a lot more companies are going to be set up for mergers and acquisitions. I think M&As are going to really start taking off because the weaker companies are not going to be able to keep up with all of the bigger companies right now with what's going on. And you're going to see a lot of M&A activity coming up in the next quarter because this is the last day of this quarter, right? Tomorrow starts the next new quarter of earnings and all of that kind of stuff. Watch the buybacks, and you're going to watch and see there's going to be a lot more mergers and acquisitionings happening. So keeping all of that in mind, those are the things that are behind what's going on in the market from an economic standpoint. And now, what do we need to do? Let me ask one thing before we keep on moving. A lot of you follow us here on our YouTube channel, and a lot of you follow me on my Twitter channel. A lot of you have followers on your Twitter channel. I'm going to invite you guys right now to share this live link right now on your Twitter feeds. Get your people who follow you to come over and take a look at what we're doing here in VectorVest. And from that perspective, folks, let's get more people in the room, get them educated as to what's going on. All right. So if everyone does that for at least one person, we can bump up how many people we have in the room right now. And again, of course, if you like the content, hit the like button. Oh, look at that. Joey put the link for this live stream out there for you already. All you have to do is copy that link, put it on your social media feed, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Twitter. Let's get some people into the room and let them get educated just like you guys are as well. All right, so that's what's going on in the market. Let's get back into the software. Let's look at the indicators that I look at for the market. If you are a VectorVest subscriber, we use the indicator known as the VVC, or the VectorVest Composite. It tracks the movements of over 9,100 stocks, all right? And that's why we use it for market timing. And those of you who may be new, from a market timing perspective, we don't guess or plan where the market is going to go. We follow the trend of the market and we keep our subscribers on the right side of the trend. So that's what the VVC does. Now, the other indicator, if you're not a subscriber to the VectorVest software, most people use the benchmark of the S&P 500. Well, I also look at that as well, and we go from there. So I'm going to look at those two indicators. We now know the news behind what's going on in the market. Let's put these indicators on a 3-month graph and see what's going on. So coming off most recently, the market did a little bit of coming off of a bottom or a level of support. Here's the composite coming off the price of 58.32, bounced off. Nice, beautiful upward trend in the market. Now, the market currently, over the last 2 days, over the last 3 days, was approaching a level of resistance on the composite of $64.55. It wasn't able to break through, and there's another level of resistance before it still has legs to move higher. Now, over the last couple of days, we've pulled back. We had a candlestick formation yesterday known as a bearish harami, which could be a possible reversal pattern. And guess what, folks? We're getting follow through today. All right, so a bearish harami, follow through. And what else is going on? Look at the 3 and 8 exponential moving averages. For those of you who are brand new to the channel, why do I use the 3 and 8 exponential moving average, especially from a trading perspective? Because they work very well. And no matter if I'm looking at an index or an individual stocks, watching the 3 go above the 8 really proves is a good opportunity to get into a stock or an index. Now noticing that the price of the composite is falling over the last 2 days, the 3 and 8 are still good. If I'm playing the market right now to the upside, I'm still okay, but watching the movement of the VectorVest composite pull back, but the 3 still above the 8, what do I do right now in my portfolios? I tighten the stops on my stocks. I do not panic sell. 1 day doesn't make a trend. 2 days, it doesn't make a trend either. Probably 3 days starts making a trend. But this is a way, from a timing perspective, as a market, as an individual investing in the market, never let them see you sweat, and I don't want you to just panic sell, and this is why I like to use the 3 and the 8. John says, at stock time, that's right. If Glenn wants to be the main guy at the Fed, he still has to do trending Thursdays. Listen, I ain't going to the Fed. That ain't happening. I got too many skeletons in my closet. If they're going to have to put me through a confirmation hearing, they're going to ask Joey, so what do you think about Glenn? Everything goes down the pooper right there, because Joey's going to throw me under the bus and then let the bus run over me several times. Right, Joey? No confirmation hearing for Glenn. See, he's not even here. No confirmation hearing for Glenn.
And then back over as well.
And then back over as well. That's right. I'm sure this ain't gonna happen. Twitter is a death duck in the middle of the lake. The other option is the Truth Social. Listen, you know me, I ain't pushing any kind of politics in here. So Lou, you know, I needed to shut that down. I didn't read it. I should have read that and probably shut that down. I'm not going for that. All right. This ain't the platform for that. This ain't the platform for that. Just putting that out there. All right. And let's go look at the S&P. And notice also the earnings on our composite of over 9,100 stocks is falling as well. We're still positive. Overall, our platform of stocks profile of stocks is still growing at the rate of 10% a year overall. Now let's go look at the S&P 500, same kind of deal. Now it broke through in this most recent upturn. It broke through two levels of resistance. It broke through a level of resistance sitting at 448.49 and recently broke through a level of 457.53. But look at that. Broke back down, now using it as a level of resistance instead of a level of support. The 3 and the 8 are still in play. The 3 and the 8 are still in play. But again, you don't panic sell. This is a time where you tighten the stops. When do you start getting more concerned? When the 3 and the 8 close to the downside on an end of day basis, not an intraday basis, but on an end of day basis. All right. So that's what you do. Do you tighten stops on all the stocks or just the ones that are falling today? Harry, I would say tighten the stops on all your stocks because that way you get to lock in profits on the stocks that are making money. And then you help to mitigate losses on the stocks that are already losing you money so that you don't get jacked up. Joel says, I had to subscribe. This information is gold. Way to go, Joel. I love that. I love to see that in the chat. Want to tell us what a bearish harami is? Sure. A bearish harami is Japanese for pregnant lady. All right. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here from that candlestick pattern. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Coming in from that candlestick pattern, this would be the woman's body, and this would be the baby. And that's what you look at from this perspective as being a bearish harami. Bearish because the baby is red instead of a bullish harami would be a red candle, but with a green open body. So this is a bearish harami. There's the body. There's the baby. The baby's within the body. And that's why it's called a bearish harami. Good question. Good question, Miss McClintock. I appreciate that because not everybody may know that. And don't be afraid to ask questions, folks, especially if you don't know. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you answer questions. All right. So from a market timing perspective, what am I telling you need to do? If nothing else, tighten the stops on the stocks that you own. Don't panic. All right. Because when I'm looking at the VectorVest composite, remember, looking at over 9,100 stocks, the movement of over 9,100 stocks, it's not telling you to get out. Now, when the 3 crosses below the 8, notice, look at that. Boom. That's a good time to get out. Here, we got a little bit of whipsaw, right? We got out, we got back in, and we got back out. No matter what timing signal you have or whatever indicators you use for market timing, you will always be susceptible to whipsaws. There's nothing I can do to protect you against that. All right, there's nothing I can do to help you with that. Rich says, amen to stop tightening assessment. Rich, this is what it's all about, man. And for everybody, I always like the comments when people say, man, you the man. No, I'm not. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy who loves what I do, and I love relaying that information over to you. What is the candlestick for the pregnant man since Google said, I ain't going down that rabbit hole either. I'm not. Joey, you want to handle that question? What's the candlestick for the pregnant man? Since Google says men can, listen, even if men can get pregnant, I ain't getting pregnant. I'm not doing that. Listen, I see where babies come from. I'm a guy. I ain't got that. And I'm not trying to have no babies like that. Believe you me. I'm just putting that out there. All right. I'm just being real. I'm keeping it real. I'm not trying to do that. Now, Joey, on the other hand, may be like, yeah, I love the babies, and I'm going to have a baby. And Joey, you go right on ahead and do that. Huh?
No.
You tried? They said no?
Said we're done.
Wow, I hear that. I'm not going to even lie and say I tried. All right. So from the perspective of what's going on in the market, you guys now have more information to go on. Right now, the market is moving down. Don't panic. If you're in stocks that are making money, tighten stops. If you're in stocks that are losing money, tighten stops. Don't take big losses in the stocks that are losing you money, and don't give back all your profits on the stocks that you've made money on. All right. So that is what I got. John says, oh my goodness, look at what I started now. Yeah, I'm not even listening to you right now, John, anymore. Joey says you're not getting ribs this week. I know. Right now, Joey's already said we're not friends this weekend because Carolina and Duke play Saturday. All right. B. Smith says, I like the guppy squeeze. It's helped me get in and out when I should. You know something? I like that. It's just got a lot of moving averages. I've put it up. I look at stocks sometimes with that. I do like it, but it is a lot of moving averages. All right, it is a lot of moving averages. All right, let's move on to my next story. My next story is about marijuana stocks. Why? Because this is big. High expectations, fun on words. How the House is moving to legalize marijuana, or in a different way of saying how to decriminalize marijuana. And I say that because depending on how you feel about the subject, you may think that it's immoral to do it. And listen, I'm not looking at it from a moral perspective or immoral perspective. I am in the stock market and I help people to make money in the stock market. I'm looking at it as a money-making opportunity. Canada has got a lot of drug companies. The U.S., of course, has a lot. And the two of them together, both Canada and U.S., are waiting on legislation from our government to decriminalize marijuana. And once that does, folks, it could be a tremendous buying opportunity. It really, 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 really can. So another one, how about the federal local lawmakers working to make marijuana businesses safer? As cannabis stores in Washington are being targeted in robberies, federal and local lawmakers are working to make the marijuana business safer. So it's interesting that states have legalized marijuana for both medicinal and recreation, but it's not been okay or made a law on the federal level. So the federal government can still go into the states that have legalized marijuana and still shut those dispensaries down. So they're both fighting, whether it's on the local level or on the federal level. The federal level has got the overall say to a certain degree, right? Which I think is kind of, I don't know, if you look at the Constitution, and I don't want to go down this path, but if you look at the Constitution, the power of government should be on the state level. We're way past that. We're so way past it. The government is so big that we're so way past that. But I think that if a state says that they want to legalize marijuana, make it, decriminalize, the federal government shouldn't step in and shut these places down, but they can. All right. Did Congress table the conversation? Tilray has fallen through the floor. As far as I know, again, remember, here's the story. It says, and this was supposed to be for this week, the MORE Act, can marijuana become federally legal? Currently, 37 states have legalized cannabis for medical use and 18 for both medical and recreational use. Will the Senate vote to legalize if the House passes the MORE Act? So now do you know what it's called? It's called the MORE Act. It will face challenges in the Senate, all right? Even if the Senate Democrats voted in favor, the bill would still need 10 GOP votes for it to pass and would be signed into law. That is the problem, all right, to get it passed, because if you stick through party lines, that's where the problem is going to be. And I don't know if there's going to be 10 GOP votes to help to push the law through. The House is most likely going to push it through, but it's going to be a problem once it gets into the Senate. Even if the MORE Act fails, it's an opening the door to a more open perspective of marijuana at the federal level. Cannabis has been a scapegoat and racist. Lord, why did I have to talk about racism? When Mexican immigrants brought the tradition of smoking marijuana to the States. What? Is that how it got here? What? I'm not saying nothing to nobody who may be in the background listening to me. It was banned on a federal level in 1937. All right. Federal decriminalization of marijuana might still be a ways off. Ooh, there it is.
Clear that chat, my guy.
Oh, I got to clear the chat. But other proposals show how the tone towards marijuana is changing. All right, so we still may be a ways off, but I think that it's being brought to light a lot more, and I think there could be a boost to marijuana stocks, but until the law really gets into place, I still don't think the stocks will take off yet. So with the law being on the table, let's take a look at some stocks in the space to keep your eyes on. Now, Tilray is in here. You guys all know that I love to look at ETFs in case you guys don't want to hone in on an individual stock. So we're going to look at ZTOKE. We're going to look at Sundial. We're going to look at Grow Generations. Was that the 4? let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at where they are in my list of 19 stocks sorted by VST, towards the bottom, all right? Because this whole industry, this whole sector has been beaten up because the legislation hasn't come to fruition yet, right? It is what it is. It really is what it is. But the law, or sorry, the lack thereof, the talk is what's pushing it higher right now. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to highlight Tilray. And let's go look at the sector graph. Let's go see what the sector is doing. Let's go put it on a 3-month graph. And again, look at that. With the talk going on, all right, this is the whole healthcare marijuana side. Look at that move. The move or the news is pushing it higher, right at a level of resistance as well on the whole sector at 38.77. Volume is picking up because it's picking up more exposure. So by way of that, some of these drugs, some of these marijuana stocks may be on the rise. Thus, even on a down day today, look, we got an open candle on the sector. All right, so I wanted to show you from that perspective first. Now let's go look at the other stocks that I wanted to look at. Right click, view the graph. And this kind of analysis puts more perspective behind what I'm talking about today. The news is there. The industry, though, has been beaten up. The news is driving the industry or the sector higher. What are the stocks that are moving in it? Les James, I guess you guys in the room are talking, so that's fine. Look at this, Tilray, because Tilray has been brought up to me in a lot of conversations. Shooting star pattern, big wick at the top of the candle, followed through today. Notice that the 3 and the 8 are still in play. Volume has been above average volume with the talk of the bill on the Congress floor. Our earnings per share on the industry or the sector on this stock is negative, but they are growing at a clip of 22% a year. What that means at that rate, that negative shouldn't be there for too much longer. Should I buy it today? No. Should I buy it right now? No. If I'm currently in it, should I panic? No. Hopefully, when you saw that shooting star pattern with the follow through today, you should have already started tightening the stops on it. When should you definitely be out of it? If the 3 crosses below the 8. Now, over the last 2 days, if you were moving up and now you're getting less profit, I wouldn't be afraid to take it off the table now. I wouldn't be afraid. There you go. Maria says, I was thinking of dumping my bank stocks, but will hold. I'm not ready to dump the bank stocks yet. I still think we got a lot more room to the upside on bank stocks due to rising interest rates. All right, so I'm going to keep that in mind. All right, so that's Tilray because I knew a lot of people were going to be talking to me about it. And you know something? I got a gap up here. Where's my gap? I actually blew through the gap. There's my gap. No, it went down as far. There's my gap. I blew through, but I'm starting to already cover the gap or fill the gap on Tilray. Be careful if you own it. All right, my next one, ZTOKE. That is an ETF on the sector or on the whole industry. It's falling. It was rising along with the news, got to a level of resistance, which was sitting at a value of $12.22. This is an inexpensive way. This is a relatively inexpensive way to get into cannabis stocks if you want to take advantage of the whole space. All right, but it's pulled back for 2 days in a row. A little bit of a one black crow followed through, and the 3 and 8 are still in play. I'd still be careful with it right now. So the reason why I'm bringing this to your attention is because the legislation is on the floor. I wanted to show that with the legislation, the news was enough to drive the stocks higher. Sundial is one of my favorites in this space, pulling back as well for now 4 days in a row on big volume. Volume is conviction. People are selling out of Sundial because the volume is there. And the last one I got is Grow Generations, which I think is one of the best stocks in this space with a relative value at 1.22, positive earnings, 30% earnings growth rate. But even right now, again, all of these stocks exhibit the same characteristics of moving up most recently and then pulling back. Right now on Grow Generations, though, the 3 is about to cross the 8 on an end-of-day basis. Watch earnings per share starting to fall. I'm going to add one more. This is MJNA. This is a super speculative stock. MJNA. I'm just looking. Why did the S come up? I'm just looking for an opportunity to fill at 3 cents. But when the whole industry moves, this stock moves. I made like 1,600% on this stock way back in the day. back in the day when I was young. I'm not a kid anymore, but some days I sit and wish I was a kid again. One of these upward moves up to like 50 cents. Where is that move up to like 50? Was it last? It was last year. There it is. Here's the point where I made a ton of money on the stock, and I did videos on it, and I've got all kinds of points to get in and getting out, but that stock went up to like a lot of money. I made a lot of money. Look at that profit target. Take half off the table at that point. Look at that. I've done videos on it. You guys need to keep your eyes on some of the videos that we do on the channel. I write these notes to let me know that I'm a genius. And you know what? Joey believes that too. Don't you believe that, Joey? I'm a genius, right? MJNA stocks sucks, says Roger. Right now, I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't buy it, but I'm telling you that when the industry rises, this is a stock that I've had my mind on, that I've had my eyes on. I've personally made a lot of money. Look at the move now, but a down day today. Down day today. This is strictly a speculative stock across the board. All right, so that's my marijuana stocks. What can I say to convince you? Oh, there you go. Hey, Glenn, what determines if a stock is a buy, sell, or hold? Lyndon, once you become a VectorVest subscriber, we've got videos that talk to you about that. But a lot of it is based off of the stop price on a stock. Every stock that in our database has a stop price. And I tell people to use it as a gospel or a guide, because once the stock's price, see this right here, 238, goes below the stop price of 288, the stock automatically gets to be a sell. So from a gospel perspective, as soon as a stock goes below the stop price, that's a good time to get out of the stock. Now, the guide side of it is if the stock's price starts getting closer to the stop price, you start tightening your stops. But how does the stock get to be a buy? The stock's price has to be above the stop price. Take four things. The stock's price has to be above the stop price. It needs to be trending away from the stock price, and RT and VST need to be above 1. As long as all four of those things are happening, that's how our stock gets to be a buy. How does the stock get to be a hold? One of those four things is not happening. And then how does it get to be a sell? Simply the stock's price has to go below the stop price. All right. So that's a great question, Lyndon. And that is as quickly and succinct an answer that I can give you without going down a rabbit hole and giving you all the geometric triglyceride things that go along with the fundamental analysis, the technical, and the ecclesiastical things. Does that make sense?
Genius, you say.
Yeah. All right. So that was the best way that I can answer that question, Lyndon. How's my Facebook people? What are you doing? Nobody's talking much on Facebook. All right. So I just want to make sure that I know you guys are out there. You can chime in as well. All right. Let's get to my next story. My next story talks about, we're not finished there. Health stocks. United Healthcare to buy LHC Group for $5.4 billion in home care health push. Now, my wife works in home health care. She's a respiratory therapist, and she does a lot of home health care. I think that this is an undervalued space in the healthcare business. In the healthcare business, it's all about going to see your doctor now because of COVID, doing the telehealth. But now that COVID is starting to back down a little bit, except for if you're in Shanghai, now that COVID's starting to back down a little bit, being able to have that relationship with your patients by going out to their homes, something you can see, as my wife would say, if your patients are being compliant. You get a real assessment talking to your patients in their homes. So this is big. United Healthcare is one of the biggest companies in the whole space, but a healthcare push, that could be a driving factor for many other healthcare companies, something to keep in mind. And I don't know if you know that or not, but I've got the benefit of having a respiratory therapist in my home. And, all of the things that the education that you get to do in the comfort of a patient's home goes a long way than sitting in a doctor's office. I go to my doctor's office and I'm like, it smells all doctory in there. It smells all, and it's always cold. And they make you sit on that sheet of paper. And then afterwards they say, ew, you're dirty. So they're going to take that sheet of paper and rip it off just before you go to say, yes, we're taking your little dirty paper. I feel some kind of way. I don't know if you're the same way. I feel some kind of way when I'm still in the room and they pull that paper down and rip it off and throw it away. I don't know about you, but I feel some kind of way. Wait until I leave. How about that? And then they got all of the stuff that's hanging up on the wall and they make this stick it in your ear and you know something? It's not the same. But when you can go out to a patient's home where they're comfortable, home health care is a way to go. So I'm just putting that out there. I'm just putting that out there. And the doctors are always in a rush, Les, because they got to get to the next patient. Doctors are always in a rush. Now, I can't do that. Stop. I can't kick it in a rally. I can't make it into a rally. The doctor always makes me feel dirty too, Glenn. Well, listen, I ain't going down that. I just said about the paper. That's all I said. All right. Miss McClintock says, you want an unsanitary exam room? No, I just don't want them to tear the paper while I'm there. Wait till I leave the room and then tear the paper. That's what I'm saying. All right, so let's go look at some healthcare stocks. Man, last couple of days, Joey, I've had tough rooms, huh? Last couple of days, I've had some tough rooms. Good gravy. Huh? It's rough. I'm loving I love the vibe, though. I love the vibe. All right, let's go look at my healthcare stocks. WST, let's go see where they sit in the list. WST, UNH, where's my UNH? Should be further up. There it is. UNH, Anthem, that's another good one. And CUTR. This is one that many of you may not know about, Kutera. All right. So when I go to look at these stocks, I want to find quality stocks for you guys to at least consider. Notice that all of my stocks that I'm looking at are buy recommendations. They all have positive earnings and they all grow their earnings double digit. All right. And they're all buys. All right. So let's go take a look at the stock. So we only did a story on UNH, but let's go look at the other stocks in there as well. Let's go peep that out. Put this on a 3-month graph. Look at that. West Farm, healthcare, medical, dental supply. I like the setup of this stock. If the space is moving, healthcare stocks is up 17% over the last 2 weeks, though, as a sector. So I like that. Up 17%. That means the stocks within the sector are moving the stocks higher, right? Look at that. West Farm stopped at a level of resistance at 418.98. It's having a hard time breaking through. But look at the earnings per share. The earnings per share, Joey, take me off for a second. The earnings per share is definitely growing over the last 3. Just went above 1. Gotta love that. Relative value on this stock is at 1.45. This stock should outperform a AAA corporate bond by 45% over the next 1 to 3 years. The safety is above 1. Fundamentally, this stock is sound. This stock is sound. Glenn, how can we take advantage of M&A finding companies that I can't read that? Why can't I move that picture of me off of that, Joey? Sigh. That get bought. You know, I don't have an answer on M&A, but there's probably a way on Google to find M&A rumors. M&A, that's probably the best way that I go. I would probably look at a website that talks about M&A rumors and then do some diving from there. Waymo is expanding Tesla's driverless vehicles. How are we getting from medical stocks to driverless vehicles? We'll get there. Roger. All right, what's the next stock that I have in the list? The next stock is UNH. Look at that. Look at that move. A little bit of give back today. The 3 and the 8 are solid, though. Nice update today, yesterday, pull back today. If I'm in it, I'm not panicking. Volume is pretty steady. Look at the earnings per share rising higher. I like that one, too. Another one in here, Anthem. These are some of the best stocks in that space. A little bit of a give back today, but an open candle, which shows me a little bit of a reprise that the stock was getting beaten up, but it's trying to come back because it's an open candle, even though it's red. But a lot of selling pressure today, but the 3 and the 8 looks solid. Volume looks pretty good. RT is above 1. And the last stock, wow. This is the stock that I said many of you may not know about. And I always try to bring something new to the table for you guys every day. All right. How can we find out heavy insider buying? Example, SoFi is heavily inside. And again, I don't have anything within the VectorVest software. So what were the 2 things? M&A. M&A stuff and insider trading. Let me look into those things. And if I can come up with a better answer and give you some answers, better answers to that, the M family, let me see what I can do for that. All right, let me see what I can do. I don't have anything off the top of my head without Googling it, but I will at least put some energy into getting you a better answer and finding the answers to those questions. I've owned companies that got bought. Totally boring way to get a gain, but it's a gain. Listen, a gain is a gain. What about seasonality? Listen, I'm finna yell at y'all. Listen, I don't have any of that stuff, so I'm gonna have to Google all of this stuff. Seasonality. I don't think. Say again?
Sounds like a Glenism.
Seasonality is not a Glenism. That's a real word. I hate you right now. It's not a Glenism.
It's what you do to your chicken.
Stop seasonality. Shut up, Joey. Does VectorVest have a simple stock alert feature where I can list the stock and have it alert me if it goes below a certain high or low? And yes, Bill, you can do that in the mobile app. If you've got a subscription to the VectorVest software, everybody who's got a subscription to the VectorVest software has access to the mobile app. And in our mobile app, you can do that. Yes, you can. The M family says, you get us all excited. Good job. Love the energy. And let me tell you, today I am fretfully tired. Long night, but I'm still trying to bring the energy. And I appreciate you saying that. I do appreciate you saying that. I am freaking tired off my butt. All right. So I'm writing down this stuff, and if I can get answers, ask me next week. Ask me next week, and if I've got an answer, I'll give it to you. If I don't, I won't. How about that? But the mobile app does have the capability of giving you those alerts, Bill. You can do that. You can definitely do that. John says, VectorVest, great job, Joey. You do great. I don't even know why I put that up there. I'm going to put that up and put a record scratch, because that didn't need to even be up there. Sigh. All right, Facebook, what you guys saying? Nope, you guys ain't saying nothing. Come on, y'all. Say get in the conversation. I don't want to leave y'all out. Get in the conversation, Facebook. When is the VectorVest golf outing for subscribers? I'd love to have that. Holy smokes. I would love, and Joey can't play golf, but I can. I would love to have a golf outing. Joey can drive the cart. Joey can drive my cart. There you go, right? I like that. Joey, would you drive my cart?
No.
Yeah, you would, because
I'd push you out of there like I did Jeff Daniels.
I know you would do that. All right. Next on my list is transportation stocks. Man, how many of you are trading transportation stocks right now? Whether it's trucking, whether it's shipping, whether it's air, how many of you are trading transportation stocks right now? Type a 1 in the room. If you're not, type a 2 in the room. And again, Facebook, come on, folks, get in where you fit in. Get in where you fit in. I want to hear from you, Facebook folks, too. I'm monitoring the chat. I want to hear from you guys, too. Ms. McClintock loves dry bulk shipping. A lot of people are in it. That's a great thing. This is a space that is definitely moving. It is a space, and this is one that's moving for 2 reasons. Liquefied natural gas, and this is a boat company that transports liquefied natural gas. I just did a video on liquefied natural gas, and that we are the main exporter. We are a big exporter. Actually, we've got the most of it, and we're trying to help the EU out from not having to depend on oil. But even when I did my EV video, a lot of people were chiming in and saying, "You talking about EVs and electric? Where did they get the electric from?" A lot of it they get from coal. There's no ifs. I know that. I absolutely know that. So coal will never go away. It just will never. But the whole idea of the video was to hopefully take us off of the fossil fuel of oil. You can still do coal. I mean, it is what it is. We got a lot of coal, but a lot of our electric energy comes from coal. But a lot of our electric energy can come from solar, and it can come from wind. These are just things down the line. All right. So, liquefied natural gas is this shipping company, outperforming other transportation stocks this year? And the answer to that most likely will be yes. But let's go take a look at my transportation companies and look at this. Let's go see where these stocks sit. Matson, top of the list. Eagle, right there, number 2. Golar, number 4 out of the top 5. And what was my last one? And Navios Maritime. So this sector is up only 7% over the last 2 weeks, but look at where these stocks stand. For anybody who's saying in the room that you do not trade any of these transportation stocks, you need to keep your eyes on them. So let me show you what the sector is doing. I'm going to highlight one of them, right click. Let's go view the sector graph. Let's go take a look at the sector, put it on a 3-month graph. And this is where I get a lot of analysis from. Look at this. So it's been going up. Is it getting tired? Possibly. Look at the last 2 days. The sector has pulled back. RT is still above 1. Look at the earnings per share rising up as well currently right now. So could the sector be getting tired? Well, it's been running. It's been running. So a lot of people will say, well, wait a minute, some of these stocks are taking a hit. Well, I think it's taking a hit because the sector could be getting tired. Let's look at the individual stocks. All right, let's bring them up real quick. I'll look at the 3-month graph, but look at Matson. Look at that. Down for 2 days, but look at that run up. Why do I like the 3 and the 8? Look at when the 3-8 cross. It almost crossed to the downside here, but didn't. Look at that. That's why I like utilizing the 3 and the 8. Earnings. Look at the earnings per share. Why? Earnings is the engine that drives the stock's price higher. Look at that rise in earnings per share. RT is above 1, but starting to fall a little bit. How about the relative value on the stock is at 1.69? It should definitely outperform a AAA corporate bond by 69%. Positive earnings, and they grow their earnings at a clip of 37%. Folks, this sector has been on fire. GLNG has paid a dividend since 6 of 2019. Look at that. Stock Time says, folks, hit the like button. Joey, how many likes we got? 84? All right, let's go see. You know me, I like to see if we can get to at least 100 likes before we leave. If we do, we do. If we don't, it is what it is. Rodney says, cost of entry and lead time are barriers to increase LG capacity. Yes, and I saw a story. I just did a story on LNG, and one of the things is that the demand may be outplacing the supply tremendously. So that's going to be very interesting. Joey, can you make the EPS a light color in solid fill? Joey can't do that. Earnings per share. I can do this. Change the style. I can... I could do it this way. Earnings per share, change the type. Shut up, Joey, because you don't know what to do. You sure don't. You sure don't. You wouldn't have known. All right, I'm gonna make this a lighter color. How about this, Miss McClintock? Is that better for you? How about that? All right, so I can see the earnings per share a little better. It is shaded. Joey, you wouldn't know what to do. It is shaded. Actually, I'm going to do something else. What else am I getting ready to do, Joey, since you know? What else am I going to get ready to do? Exactly. All right. Make it even better for you. How about that, Miss McClintock? How about that? That look a little better? Now we can see earnings per share. Oh, my goodness. All right. There we go. So I made it so you can see a little bit better. I ask and you shall receive. Here's Eagle Bulk Shipping. Now, its lower earnings per share is lower than it was 3 months ago, but still earnings per share at $14, growing their earnings at 42%. Right now, it's hitting a headwind of the high. The high sitting at 68.98. Right now, trading at 67.50. It needs to break through that, but the 3 and 8 are solid. The next one, look at that. There's GLNG. Oh, man. You know, something about me. Because I got to play GLNG. Because I got to... Okay, never mind. I'll push that because I was getting a little rappish. on it, but that was kind of brutal. I'm not going to lie. Look at that. New high today, even on a down day. New high today, but a little bit of a pullback. Look at the 3 and 8. Looks solid. Now, friend, is there ETF for shipping? There is. I don't know I don't remember what it is. There is a transportation ETF. I don't remember what it is, Devendra. If I can remember before we leave, I bet you somebody in VV Nation can remind me. There is a transportation ETF that you might want to look at that covers shipping, air. It covers all of it. Somebody in VV Nation, BDRY, is that it? I don't think that was it. I know that stuff. BDRY. That's for shipping. Oh, that's specifically for shipping. There you go. Sector, no. It does say, there you go, Devendra. BDRY. Somebody else says boat. BOAT. Are you messing with me? No, there it is. It really is. There's another one, Devendra. Put these both on 3 months. Wow, look at that. I don't like this ETF because it's gappy. I don't like anything because as quickly as it can gap up is as quickly as it can gap down. I don't like this ETF. I'm more with this boat one, specialty theme. I'd be more with that, but the 3 and the 8 are bearish on that one, so I'd be careful with that. The individual stocks seem right now to be working more, than the ETF. All right, there you go, Devendra. And there's 2 more. SHIP, that's from Greece. CTRM is not the ETF, Bill. I'm not talking about that stock ever again. Not until that stock can get back into my good graces. That stock is no longer in my good graces right now. I've made a lot of videos on that. I've got a lot of views on it, but it's got to get back into my good graces. All right, let's get to my next story. Sigh. Let's get to my next story. What's my next story on? Oh, there was another one. Zim. Oh man, that went with this story too. Zim. I got in Zim because they were paying a hella dividend. So I got in, the stock went up, the stock went down. I lost about $500 on the stock, but then I was the owner of record. I'm looking to get me like a $19 dividend though on like 1,000 shares. I'm going to take that. Ms. McClintock says, Glenn, what takes the steam out of shipping fall? You said when they're running, they're great. Yeah. So what takes the steam out of the shipping is the ability to get the stuff to people. All right. That's what I think. Or, there are times when there's not a lot of shipping going on. And I think that that sector can be seasonal. Right now, I don't think the seasonality is coming into effect because they're still so bogged down at ports. So I don't think that that's going to happen for a while. But normally what happens is it is seasonal. It is a seasonality thing. And there are times when there's not a lot of shipping going on. So that's normally what takes it out. I do like Star Bulkers, Joe D. I actually do. I just didn't put a whole lot of stocks. I put up a few of them, but Star Bulkers is another good one. I do like that stock. All right, now let's go to my next. My next one is autos, EVs. Going back to EVs. This is big for Tesla. So before I get into this story, one of the biggest things about any EV is the company's ability to develop or produce and put into sale their vehicles. I've seen a lot of companies out there like Nikola, like Lucid, like Rivian, like Lordstown. A lot of these companies are, they tout what their cars can do. But it's not until they have their cars into production and can sell them when they're worth their weight in salt. All right. So Tesla, we all know that Tesla's out there putting the cars out there, but this is affecting their ability to put cars out there. You know that they just put up a new gigafactory in Germany. This one was already up. Tesla extends the Shanghai shutdown against outbreaks because as outbreaks persist. Shanghai is going through a shutdown. China is shutting down, for the most part, a lot of people because of the influx of more COVID breakouts. So from that perspective, it's affecting Tesla's ability to put the cars out. And if it affects the company's ability to put the cars out, it's going to affect the bottom line because they can't sell cars. So this is going to be big for Tesla if they are on extended ability to not make cars. All right. And this is a gigafactory. This ain't just a little itty bitty flyby. This is a gigafactory. All right. Another one, NIO. Chinese NIO delivers its first ET7 electric sedans. Then I saw another story that came out and said that they had to go back out. So there's a mixture in the stories that they had to delay it, but it came out, and this was 3 days ago, March 28th, that said that they are out and they started delivering. Remember, the company, whether it's an EV or not, the company that can put the cars out and sell the cars will be the ones that will make money. If they report earnings and they miss deliveries, it's going to affect the company, no matter what company it is, adversely. All right, so they're only as good as their ability to deliver vehicles. So you're going to see these companies move around a lot because you're going to see the stories that come out and say, man, they did great deliveries, or they missed deliveries. Any one of these companies miss deliveries, the company will go down. If these companies can continue to do and sell and make cars and sell the cars and all that stuff, those companies are going to keep running. So right now, even though I like the EV space long term, I think that some of these companies are going to be shorter term trades based on the news. Does everybody understand that? Type of 1 in the room if you do. Type of 2 if you don't give a flying flip about it. All right, type of 1 in the room if you understand that a lot of these companies will be shorter term trades. ChargePoint on the other side is on the charging side of it less. These I'm looking at right now are the actual EV car manufacturers. All right. These are the EV car manufacturers. So it's a little different. I did a video on charging. I did 2 videos back to back on the charging infrastructure. If you haven't watched that, go out and watch that. Folks, we cover a lot of material on our YouTube channel, and you may just be here for Trending Thursday or for Midday Market or for the mobile app. We do so much more than that, you really need to check out the content on our channel, number 1. Number 2, share that content with the people that you know. Let them know what we do here at VV Nation. It's not a whole bunch of blah, blah, blah. We try to give you good information to help you to make good decisions in stocks. All right. And the last thing on that story that I did about the maintenance between combustible, what is it? Combustion vehicles compared to electric vehicles. Here's another piece of that. EV batteries should last about 15 years. 15 years. So I always get that the biggest reason why it should be more maintenance on the electric side is because of the cost of the battery. In that video that I did, all right, these batteries are rated to last 10 years, 100,000 miles. When you buy electric cars, the warranties should state that. And the problem is, as of right now, there's not a lot of information on people having to replace batteries because it hasn't been out that long. And as long as you're within warranty, you can get your battery replaced at $0. At $0. Now, once the battery goes out of warranty, then you're looking at $20,000, $25,000 to replace the battery. I don't think many of us will put ourselves into a situation where we're going to let that electric car battery get out of warranty. Just saying. Stock Time says, Glenn, you are the best. Love your market updates. You are a highly valued spokesman for VectorVest subscribers. Thank you for that, Stock Time. I appreciate it. Vietnam's VinFast to invest $2 billion in North Carolina EV factory. I didn't hear about that. That's cool. Where in North Carolina? Oh, they need to just come up to Mooresville. Oh, yeah. S. McClintock says, Glenn, back to the Fed. Dr. D's truth chart says we are ending in the bull market. Are we? And I'm not going to put that out here. I'm not going to put out the truth chart here because there's a lot of people who don't subscribe to the channel. I'm going to save that information for the people who are subscribers to the channel. All right, that's how I'm going to answer that question. And talking about subscribing to the software, is that it? That's not it. Where is that? There's not much that we sell here on this channel, but all the analysis that you see me do here, you have the capability of doing so. We offer a trial to the VectorVest software, 99 cents for 30 days. 99 cents for 30 days. And you can do a lot of this. You want to learn more about what that truth chart with Miss McClintock is talking about. It helps us to know, and lets all of our VectorVest subscribers know if we are in a bull or bear market at any point in time. All right, so I save that information for our VectorVest subscribers. I don't want to put that out there because we've got a lot of value in the software that if you want to see that, 99 cents is not a lot of money to take advantage of a 30-day trial. Who is going to recycle the toxic lithium batteries? Well, that's another another story in and of itself. And I don't have the answer to that, Stock Time. I don't have it. I don't have the answer to that. How can we find the EV battery stocks in VV? I might have a watch list. And you know something, Devendra, if you're a subscriber to the software, a lot of these questions that you're asking about making stocks, you can make your own watch lists. You just need to do a little bit of research, but you can build your own VectorVest watch list. That's the best way I'm going to answer that question. All right, so that was my last story. Let's talk about some EV stocks. Tesla at the top.
This is precision bottom fishing.
Oh, I got to talk about that too. Oh, so we have a webcast. When is the webcast, Joey? Do you remember?
Today at 6.
It's today at 6. So we've got a brand new course coming out called the Precision Bottom Fishing course. The most recent bottom fishing campaign we just put up, we made about 14% in about a week. All right. If you want to be able to learn how to utilize the VectorVest software for the purposes of identifying when a market is looking for a bottom, when the bottom happens, and how to confirm when that bottom happens, here's a webcast, a free webcast today at 6, Joey, 6 or 6:30?
6.
Is at 6 today. Joey's going to put a link. He put a link in the chat for you for that free webcast. Go check that out. It is a course. It is a paid course, but if you want to learn more about it, it's a free webcast today that you can check out. The 3 and the 8 moving averages, are they simple or exponential for short-term direction? The M family, they are 3 and 8 exponential moving averages, and I use those moving averages both for short-term and swing trades. They work on end of day or intraday. On an end of day, I show you a lot of stuff here. End of day, you'll see me use the 3 and the 8, but if I'm trading in a stock, I will also trade with the 3 and the 8 intraday. Chatham County. Hey, Joey, you know where Chatham County is? So there's going to be an EV factory coming to North Carolina. Ooh. Are you listening, Joey?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
All right. I watched it the other day. I'm signing up for the course. Way to go, Nick. Way to go. So, again, it's a free webcast today at 6 o'clock. Go check it out. It's right outside of Raleigh. 13,000 workers. Wow. It's going to bring on 13. That's a lot of jobs, folks, in North Carolina. That's a lot of jobs. Wow. Got to love that. All right. So what am I looking at? My cars, there's Tesla. What else is here? Vive Energy, are you here? Neo and Mullen. Notice that 3 of these companies are at the top, at the bottom of my list. Only one is towards the top. All right. Remember, Tesla is the big boy that everybody's going after. Let's right click. Let's view the stock graph. Let's go put this on a 3-month graph. There's Tesla. Patrick did a beautiful video on Monday on Tesla. Look at the earnings per share. Miss McClintock, I think that was a great idea to change this to make it look prettier. Look at that. Look at that earnings per share really rocking and rolling. It's got headwinds at a level of resistance at 11.1730. All right. Can you say Foxconn? I just said Foxconn. Don't know private company. Oh, you guys are still talking to each other. Sigh. All right, let's go to the next company. Look at this. VEV Energy is not here today. He's going to probably watch this after the fact. He's going to be like, oh, man, I wasn't there to see it live. Energy likes this company. I like a couple of things about it. One, look at the earnings per share. The company's making money. 2, relative value is above 1. The stock should outperform a AAA corporate bond by about 15% over the next 1 to 3 years. The company is making money and the earnings growth is at 30%. this company could be setting up. Right now, would I buy it? Not yet until the 3 crosses above the 8, but it's got the earmarks of being able to be a good company, and I'd really like to see volume pick up on it as well. NEO, everybody knows NEO, but man, it's just tough with NEO because the earnings per share is negative. The earnings growth is 28%, but look at it fall. Look at it fall. So even with an earnings growth of 28%, the earnings are still falling. NEO is in the news and people like it. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan. Relative value is below 1. Relative safety is below 1. At least Vicinity Motors has got good upside potential. NEO doesn't. All right, NEO doesn't. Mullen is a company that I made a little bit of money on when it was rocking and rolling. It pulled back, found a level of support. Right now, having a hard time getting above a value of 3.36. This was news driven. Look at the earnings per share falling. It is negative, growing their earnings at 43%. Relative value and relative safety both below 1. This is more of a speculative play, just like NEO. Folks, we covered a lot of stuff today. Holy smokes, we did. Is that the right one I want? No. Yeah, it is. We covered a lot of stocks today. Man, and you guys were on point with your great questions. I totally appreciate it. And we did simulcast on both Facebook and on YouTube. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys for being here and supporting. Lucid, great car, just show one on the road. I haven't seen one yet. I haven't seen a Lucid. I like the Lucid. I think that Lucid is one of the best companies to effectively go after Tesla along with Ford and GM and stuff like that. Lucid cars look great. They have excellent mileage on the charge. The big thing for them too is going to be able to, are they meeting the requirements or meeting the demands for getting the cars out? All right. So, and Miss McClintock says, way to go. Great job. Thank you guys for being here. My voice is a little chucked up right now. I did a lot of talking. I don't know where I got all this energy from. Do you know where I got this energy from, Joey? Because I don't know. I'm tired. I need to go home, but I got to make another video tonight for tomorrow. So after I do that, I'm going home and I'm probably going to stay home for like a week. Joey, can I get a week off?
I don't care.
All right, Joey doesn't care. All right, so there you go. All right, with that, folks, thank you. We got 108 likes today. We still got 156 people in here. You guys are awesome. On our YouTube channel, on our Facebook channel, thank you guys for showing up with VV Nation. Do tell us what kept you up so late. The color guard. That's all I got to say. So it was the color guard. All right. VV Nation, you guys are awesome. Lou says Nikola makes electric trucks but has no demand for the product. So with that, it's going to make it tough for me to say that Nikola is a stock that you need to buy. Think about that. All right. So, folks, adios, arrivederci, ciao, au revoir, sayonara, aloha to all my peeps in Hawaii. Bom dia. Salam, shalom, namaste, yasu. Till next time, folks. See ya.